The Japanese girl inside the mirror. The mirror arrived on a rainy afternoon, packed inside an old wooden crate lined with rotting straw. Eleanor had purchased it at an obscure auction that specialized in rare imports from across Asia. The seller had said almost nothing about it, only that it was Meiji era, very rare, and came from an estate that no longer exists. That last part should have been a warning. It was a tall mirror, framed with dark, cracked wood that seemed to drink in the light. Strange carvings wound around the edges, petals, vines, and the faint impression of a face at the very top. Eleanor set it up in her bedroom, across from her bed. She spent a long time admiring how it seemed to deepen the room, creating the illusion of infinite space. The first oddity was small. As she brushed her hair before bed, she noticed the reflection lagging, just slightly. A second, maybe two. She laughed it off. Jet lag. Too much coffee. She went to sleep without another thought. But the next night, it happened again. She stood in front of the mirror, adjusting her nightgown, and caught it, the girl. Not herself, but another girl standing in her place. Pale. Black hair down to her waist. Wearing a simple white kimono. Their movements mirrored each other perfectly, except for one thing: the girl in the mirror smiled. A wide, unsettling grin that Eleanor herself was not making. Eleanor spun around. Nothing. Her bedroom was empty, silent except for the ticking of her antique clock. When she turned back, it was just her own reflection again, looking tired and shaken. She told herself she had imagined it. Dreams and reality were blending, she needed rest. But from then on, every night, the girl appeared. Sometimes, when Eleanor yawned, the girl would cover her mouth with long, skeletal fingers. When Eleanor brushed her teeth, the girl would move in rhythm, all while smiling. Sometimes the smile grew impossibly wide, pulling the corners of her mouth toward her ears. One night, Eleanor decided to test it. She lifted her hand and waved. The girl waved back, but then kept waving after Eleanor had stopped. When Eleanor put her hand down, the girl kept waving. The grin widened. Heart pounding, Eleanor backed away from the mirror. The girl's hand slowly dropped too, but her body now leaned forward, pressing against the glass as though it were thin as paper. The house grew colder with each passing night. Lights flickered. Whispers echoed through the halls when Eleanor was alone. Still, she refused to move the mirror. Some unseen force seemed to root it there, as if disturbing it would be a terrible mistake. One night, Eleanor awoke to the sound of glass tapping. She sat up in bed, the room cloaked in darkness. Moonlight from the window barely reached the mirror, but it was enough to see her, the girl inside, staring back. Tap! 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 Her fingernail scratched against the glass from the inside. Eleanor froze. The girl mimicked her frozen state, only her eyes, too large, too black, gleamed hungrily. Then, without warning, the girl's hand slapped hard against the inside of the mirror. The whole frame shook violently. Eleanor screamed and leapt from the bed, rushing to the door. When she yanked it open, she could still hear the slow, rhythmic tapping behind her, even as she fled down the hallway. She left the house that night, refusing to return until morning. When she returned, accompanied by a priest, the mirror stood still and silent. No girl. No tapping. Only her own weary reflection. The priest examined it closely, murmuring prayers. He sprinkled holy water across its surface, but the droplet slid off without a trace. He advised Eleanor to destroy it. But when they tried to move it, the glass vibrated violently. Eleanor heard a whisper then, so faint she wasn't sure if it was inside her head or real. "Don't leave me." The priest backed away, crossing himself. This is ancient. It's not just haunted. It's anchored. They decided instead to cover the mirror with a thick black cloth. For a few days, the house was peaceful. No tapping. No cold spots. No smiles. Eleanor began to believe it was over. But one night, she caught movement under the cloth. A slow bulge, pressing outwards as if a body were pushing from inside. A soft giggle drifted through the room. Terrified beyond reason, Eleanor packed her bags, abandoning the house altogether. Weeks later, a moving company was hired to clear out the house for sale. They found the mirror still standing, cloth fallen away, showing a perfectly clean reflection of the empty room. Only when one of the movers crossed in front of it did the girl return, stepping into the reflection seamlessly, mimicking his movements, smiling with such venomous glee that he stumbled backward and fell. The mirror still waits in that abandoned house. The girl still waits. Watching. Smiling. Mimicking your every move. Except when she doesn't.